Good morning, everybody. My name is Justin Rogers. We're here doing another Winnebago EKKO. This specific one is going to be a 2025 Winnebago EKKO 22A. So the difference between a 22A and a 23B is one's going to be on the Ford chassis, one's going to be on the Mercedes chassis. So this specific one's going to be on the Ford Transit 350 HD chassis. So you're going to have that 3.5 liter EcoBoost that you get in a lot of the EcoBoost F-150s, and you'll have the all-wheel drive in this one. So the Ford platform is where the EKKO originated until Mercedes finally came out with their all-wheel drive platform. So it's been around a long time. There's a hell of a lot of them on the road, and they are one of the better cruiser vehicles compared to the Mercedes. So we'll start off up front. So you do have the standard gray paint job on the front of it. You're gonna have your nice big bright LED lights on top. The Ford chassis is going to have a lot of the same safety features as the Mercedes. You'll have the active lane assist, adaptive cruise control, emergency braking, and as well as blind spot monitoring on them. So it'll just give you a little bit more peace of mind as you driving down the road in an RV. So the EKKOs are really good for your first time RVers, just because you get those safety comfort or safety features that you get in a car, as well as being very small and maneuverable and can get access to a lot of those state and national parks. The EKKO is designed to be as close to 4-season as you can get in an RV on this small of a platform. So all of the walls, the cutouts, the compartment doors are cut out of the actual wall itself. So they don't put any windows inside of the door. They use the nice little leather finish in here just to make it look a little bit cleaner. Your screen door is going to be screen as well as metal as far as for the plates. So if you have any animals or want a little bit of security while having fresh air, you can still have that. They have a little deadbolt here that you can use a key on the other side, and then you can also just lock the sliding cover in there. You'll have 2 steps to get inside the motorhome, so it makes it a little bit easier and lower to the ground, especially for some of our older customers, or if you have bad knees. Makes it more comfortable and manageable. Your first large compartment here, so there's 2 options for this compartment. You can get the outdoor kitchen on the Ford chassis, or you can just leave it blank. Even if you leave it blank, you'll still have hot and cold outdoor shower, like a little spray port right here, so you have water on this side of the RV. You won't have that on the Mercedes, so that's just one of those things that differentiates it. We'll show you the compartment door thickness on it so you can see how it is made. The latches on these are all going to be compression latches. So when you rotate them half a turn, they rotate in place, and then when you rotate it the rest of the way, it actually squeezes down to clamp on that seal. So again, just helping the, relative 4-season attribute of this. You'll have 12-volt power and a cable outlet out here if you want to put out an outside TV, and you'll also have some 110 plugs out here. Next spot's going to be propane here. You'll have 2 removable 20-pound grill tanks. So very easy to exchange those, very easy to fill them, a lot more functional than having that chassis mounted tank. You'll have a little grill disconnect down here if you want to bring your own portable grill. Up above, you're going to have the Truma AquaGo. That's going to be for continuous hot water. You turn it on, and then it's only heating that tank and burning propane as you're using or as you need hot water, instead of constantly heating those 6, 10, or 12-gallon tanks that you have in a lot of other products. So this rear compartment is what a Winnebago EKKO is known for. So you have the 2 twin beds up above inside, and you have the rear gear hauler back here. So you'll have ram tracks mounted on both sides of the floor and in both corners of the ceiling. This is heated and enclosed. There's 110 power out here. There's also 12-volt power out here. You'll have the Molly panels mounted to the doors, one on this door, one on that door, and you can access this from all 3 sides. So you can put your larger items in through here and be able to get in it from whichever side you need to, depending on what you're stashing in here. So on the rear of this one, it'll be the easiest handle to open. You do have a big grab handle on the back, so if you've had it sitting over the winter, your seals get stuck, you could just grab it by the handle and open it, and then help push open and break those seals loose on the side doors, because that happens a lot even with it sitting here on the lot. So, on the back of the motorhome, you'll have a couple key features. You're going to have a rear-mounted ladder, so you can get on the roof. There is a little roof rack up there, so if you wanted to put some storage up there, you can, but you will impede with the solar up there. I think for the Ford version, it's 455 watts of solar, and then there is a solar expansion port if you want to do suitcase solar on the side, but we'll show when we get over there. You have a rear backup camera that's mounted there, and then you also have a hitch down below with the 7-way plug, so if you wanted to tow, you can, and you can tow 5,000 pounds behind this and be comfortable doing so. So the Ford chassis actually has more horsepower and torque than the Mercedes, so it's definitely the better cruiser of the two. It's just a little less ground clearance, so you don't have the off-road capabilities. So this compartment over here is just the other side of that rear access. So up above me, you have the Batwing awning. So the Batwing awning is a 270-degree awning. It'll start over there, and it'll open all the way up and clip into that little latch there, and you can adjust the tension on it. So that you have your standard patio awning on the other side, and you also have this awning to cover, you know, half of the driver's side as well as the full rear of this. So you'll have awning space on 3 sides of this coach, just to give you that that much more outdoor patio space. And what's cool is this one's mounted into the sidewalls of it, and you have a leg that can actually go to down to the ground, so it's a little bit more durable than your standard patio awning. The next bay is going to be your water bay. So it's heated and enclosed in here. You'll have another spray port out here. You'll have the Nautilus system, so it can easily show you where your water is flowing. You have the freshwater fill in here. You'll have your low point drains, your winterization valves, your city water connect in here, as well as your gray tank drain down below. So again, nice and enclosed. The bottom of this is all plastic, so if you spill anything down here, have any water leaks or anything like that, you're not going to damage this compartment. So the next couple things, that's the solar expansion port that we talked about. This will be the 30 amp shore power. It does have a little green light indicator on here to show if you're getting clean power from your house, and it'll let you know if there's anything wrong with it. This vent's going to be for the fresh water fill, so that's just to let that air out as you're filling up the fresh tank. The vent right here is going to be for your Truma Vario, so you do have a propane heating system on it, and it will be controlled from that same panel as the Truma. So, next thing is going to be the cassette toilet. The cassette toilet is a portable black tank. You can buy additional one of these. It is just a little suitcase, so you can pull it out. It's got a handle, it's got wheels. You can take it, dump it in an actual toilet, dump it in a porta potty, or wherever is available for you. And the reason they do this as well is it's 5 gallons. And most people, when they're out camping in these, you're going to be able to go in the woods if you need to, but it's also very easy to insulate this baggage door. So in here is heated, as well as having a thick sealed the door. So this specific one does have the generator on it. So it's going to be a gasoline 2800 watt generator. It'll pull directly from the fuel tank. So that's one of the other benefits of the Ford versus the Mercedes, is you'll have a larger energy capacity in pertaining to the generator, because the Mercedes one has to pull off propane tanks, whereas the Ford one can pull off the gas tank. Next bay is going to be your 320 amp hour lithium battery and your whale pump. So the whale pump's going to be when you're taking a shower, it'll sense water coming down into the drain, and it'll send it back under the bed to that gray tank in there. This compartment also has anodized aluminum in here. So that's what it has, this blue color. It's going to help with radiating heat back inside, as well as having designated heat duct in here just to protect that whale pump, since it is down here in front and not actually inside of the coach. Opening up the driver door, you're going to have a couple things in here. So you can see some of the manual controls for your seats. You can see controls for your electric mirrors, and then also controls for your light switches. The hood latch is going to be down here on the left, as well as your gas tank is going to be locked behind your door. So you do have to open the door to get the gas tank open, so you don't have to worry about anybody siphoning fuel without actually damaging the door to get to it. So that'll be it for that side of it. The last thing that we'll cover while we're out here is just going to be your patio awning. So you do have a nice big armless Carefree awning. You have a light strip on the outside of it, and it does have a motion sensor in it. So if it does get a little bit windy, it starts sensing the vibrations. It will suck itself in. And one of the cool things compared to this to a lot of other motorhomes, it's technically a one-touch awning, so when you hit open, you hit close, you don't have to sit there and hold the button to adjust it. It will open itself all the way up or retract itself all the way just by doing it. So we'll move on to the inside of this one. So in here, you're gonna have a few different controls right as you walk in the door. You'll have the awning controls and the awning light control. Your main battery disconnect for shutting off for killing the 12 volt of this. The step on and off switch, and then a few light switches just for the ceiling. And then any of the other lights that you see on will have respective push buttons, so you can always just turn those off individually. Up above, you'll have a few monitoring panels. So you're gonna have your solar controller up here, and you'll have one of your inverter disconnects up above. Down below that, you're gonna have your generator controls, your water pump controls, your tank level, as well as what your house batteries are sitting at voltage-wise. So, in the Ford chassis, we reference this one, or I reference this one as the Cruiser more so, because you'll have 2 seats with a 3-point harness here. So if you're one that wants to bring rear-facing seats or booster seats or anything like that, they actually have a DOT seat right there instead of having like the sideways lap belts and stuff. They will have their own little table. The table does collapse down out of the way if you need it, if you need that leg room or if you don't want it up, depending on what's going on there. Both of your chairs are captain's chairs, so they will turn around. They both will come with a nice booster seat on them. So the booster seat is good for shorter people or average height people. If you're taller, when you have this turnaround, if you sit on the booster seat, you will bump your head on that. So then you just don't want to use it. But it does help get your knees down a little bit where you're not having your knees up in your chest like that. Okay, so up here, you're gonna have the overhead TV, you'll have lights, you'll have some cubbies. There'll be 12 volt and 110 on each side of over here. And then you also have this is the little entertainment section of it. So you'll have a Blu-ray player already from the factory. You'll have an HDMI port as well as cable port and another outlet in here. So those will be tied into the back of this TV. So if you wanted to plug in a DVD player, games, or anything else, you can do that. Up front, you'll see a few button snaps right here. So in the compartment, there's going to be a nice insulated blanket. So if you're doing really hot camping or really cold camping and you want to block off all this portion of glass, since this can't be double paned like it can be for the rest, it'll help conserve power or fuel. So depending on what you need. And then if it's nice cool weather like it is right now today, they have a little privacy curtain. So this one would actually go up behind. There's little Velcro snaps that go up towards the windshield and stuff. So that will just give you the visual privacy and add like a little bit of a vapor barrier, but not much insulation. It just keeps it private. This compartment is going to be one of your first storages. So you do have the aluminum brace in the middle that just helps give it a little bit more support. I believe it's rated for 50 pounds up here, so you can put a good amount of gear. They do have it felt lined in most of your compartments, so that just helps with rattling or things sliding around. And you will have the little struts to help keep that compartment door open, so you don't have to sit there and hold it open like you do with a lot of the towables. Right here, you're going to have your dual pane acrylic windows. So we'll go ahead and open these. So all the windows are going to be like that. You'll have different levels that you can keep it tilted out to. You also have a screen that you can do just to block out bugs while getting that fresh air. And then you also have a blackout shade that you can use if you want the true privacy and added an additional vapor barrier depending on what temperature you're trying to camp in, or conservation of power. For the passenger side seat over here, you'll have a little foldable table right there. So it is mounted to the wall right here, and you'll have a swivel mount that you can adjust the height of this table as well as how it fits in there. So if you're a taller person or a shorter person, you can get that table where it works for you. The next little area in here is going to be the kitchen. So there's a little bit of storage in here. We'll start up high just for transition's sake. One little compartment up here, again felt lined. Standard microwave over here. A little bit smaller, more like a college dorm microwave. You'll have a stainless steel sink with a residential sprayer. You'll have another opening window. In the Fords, you'll have a 2-burner propane cooktop. So anybody that likes to cook on gas still, instead of switching to the inductions, the Ford will be a better fit for you. The Mercedes comes with the induction only. Down below, you'll have a couple little, 2 drawers. This one we have all the remotes in. And then you'll have a deeper one here. And then you'll have 2 little compartments over here, and then you'll have access to the water filter in there. So through the unit, you'll see a bunch of these little vents. So each of these vents is an exhaust port for that Truma Vario, so that's what disperses the heat through the unit. Inside each one of them is a little baffle, so if you need to focus more heat to a different area, the bedroom, the kitchen, underneath, or anything like that, you can do that. And that way you keep the living room warmer, but you like the bedroom colder at night. You can just close off all those ports that are important to you and make it where it's comfortable for you. Last thing in the little kitchen area is you have a 12-volt compressor fridge. So I believe it's 5.3 cubic foot. So multiple shelves for fridge storage, and then a little chest freezer up above. Okay. And the last little part of the kitchen is you have a little shelf here, as well as a little tiny pantry that has adjustable shelves in there. So all of these lips can move, can support this shelf. So if you want to get more shelves from us or from Winnebago, feel free to ask about those, and just give you a little bit more storage spot while utilizing this small space right behind this seat. The next spot in here is going to be the bathroom. So the bathroom in the Winnebago EKKOs is super unique. You're going to have a folding bathroom essentially. So you'll have the mirror, the sink, and the toilet set up this way. There's also a little cabinet for storage, and then an opening window in here with an outlet down below, so you still can get ready in it. But one of the cool thing about it is you can take this wall, pull it all the way around, and then it becomes your actual shower. So your shower, it's full sized, so it's not your standard wet bath. It makes it a lot larger in here and a lot more comfortable, even for taller people, because there's still a few inches above my head and I'm 5'10". So you get a little bit more room there, and there's a lot of elbow room and whatnot. So if you do drop something, you can actually get down to get it, unlike the radius showers in a lot of motorhomes, or that wet bath that you have in a lot of Class Bs. The next section is going to be a little bit more controls. So you'll have your rooftop AC controls right here. You'll have your water heater as well as your heating controls right here. So this Truma panel will control the furnace as well as the water heater. Your beds back here, you'll have 2 twin beds, one on each side, but if you still like to cuddle, or if you want a little bit longer of a bed, if you're a taller person, you can put this middle section in and sleep sideways, and it does become a queen bed. So just a little bit more sleeping space that way if you're too tall to sleep on it long ways. So what's cool about that middle piece is when you don't have it in a bed, it is all hard plastic on this. There's 2 little cup holder spots and then a little slot to set stuff in, so you can feel it. We just leave the plastic on for customers just so they get the new feeling of opening everything up. So underneath the beds, you're gonna have a drawer on each side, so just more storage. You will also have a cabinet on each side, so each of these cabinets can be used for hanging storage. So I'll go ahead and lift that one up so we can see it. So you can see the hang rod down there, and then you also have access to the water pump. So one of the things that's cool, so this right side of me is going to be the passenger side of the motorhome. If you open this up, you have a little hidden storage compartment back in that corner that you can only get to by lifting this bed up. So any little bit of valuables or stuff that you want to keep stashed in there, you can do that, and nobody will know it's there unless they know they have to lift the bed up. So in the back bedroom, you do have a little bit of privacy. So you have this curtain where you can do some separation. Other thing that you can utilize it for is if you want to keep heat back in the bedroom so it stays cooler or warmer back here, or the AC, because the AC does have the central dump is back here. Close the curtain off, open the dump on the AC, and it'll just keep this area cold, and you're not burning so much electricity or your battery trying to cool the whole coach when you're just here sleeping. So to finish up in the bedroom, You have 2 storage compartments up above. They will have the little struts on them, so they help hold themselves open. You'll have 12-volt USB 110, and on this right side, you'll also have more 12-volt USB and another 110 outlet. You'll have a little cutout down in the center right here, so if you wanted to run cords down and set them on your phones on the plastic piece, you can do that, and you don't have to have it just sit up on this shelf. So in the back bedroom, you do have windows on both sides, so they are the same windows like we saw up front. So if you want to get a good cross ventilation back here, you can open up the windows, crack the windows, pull the screens down, and just get that nice fresh air while you sleep. Whereas a lot of other ones, you'll get a single room or a single window in that twin bed setup. So it just makes it a little bit more comfortable. The last thing back here is going to be, you do have prep for a TV. So if you are one that wants to get a TV back mounted in the bedroom, you can mount it to that wall right there. There's 110 power, and there's the little coax hookup. So the last thing on this unit is going to be the chassis stuff. So we'll go ahead and turn it on. So anybody that is familiar with a Ford truck will be familiar with the chassis. So you'll have the Ford Connect on there. You're gonna have all your analog stuff over here with a couple digital things. On this Transit, or on the panel over here, you'll have wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. You'll be able to use Ford's maps if you need them, as well as having all the different setups that you want to do. So you have automatic climate controls, which the Mercedes really didn't get until this year. So that's just one of the added benefits over there. There's different modes for driving, so you can change what conditions you're driving in. I actually had a few some customers this morning telling me they actually took their EKKO off-roading, not on purpose, but it did pretty well with the mud and ruts mode on the setting that they had set up. So all of your cruise control settings and volume controls are going to be on the left side of the steering wheel. Menu controls to navigate through, and then voice controls, as well as like skipping songs and whatnot, are on this right hand side. Gear shifter is going to be your standard gear shift. You also have an M for manual mode, so if you wanted to like use the transmission to slow you down when you're going down passes or anything like that, or any mountain driving, you can do that. Or gear down whenever you're towing. On the left and right sides of the steering wheel, you're going to have 2 little stalks. The right one's going to be for your windshield wiper controls. Your left one is going to be turning on your active lane assist, as well as blinkers and high beams. And then the last thing up here is just going to be lots of cubbies. So you'll have a lot of storage over top. You'll also have some 12-volt and another USB-C plug up here. So there's lots of spaces for electronics in these nowadays, and for all of the creature comforts. Again, the Ford is mainly for the people that aren't trying to get into the extreme off-roading with the EKKOs. That would definitely be a little bit better for the Mercedes. But we have seen some cool stuff done with the Fords. We actually have a service customer that comes in all the time that has the suspension lift on it and the aftermarket tires with aftermarket wheels, just to give it that much more ground clearance. And from first glance, it actually looks like a lifted Mercedes because he has it so modified. So there's a lot of things that you can do with the Winnebago EKKO. But that will be it. This has been a 2025 Winnebago EKKO. It's one of our last ones, so if you guys have any questions about it, feel free to give me a call. My name is Justin Rogers. My cell phone is 404-936-6215. My email is justin.rogers@transwest.com. Have a good one.